Well, thank you so much, AJ. And I'm really, really grateful to join Career Amp. And, it wouldn't be possible without your guys'
So
support.
we are joined here by our client, Rinkal. So Rinkal, if you just wouldn't mind just telling us your first name, where you live, and what you do just to kick us off.
Sure. My first name is Rinkal. I live in central New Jersey, and I am a risk and compliance professional.
I love it. Risk and compliance. All right. So can you tell us a little bit about where you were in your search before coming into CareerAmp? So kind of what was happening before you started looking for help?
Sure. So, before I joined Career Amp, I was posting for the position everywhere, but I'm not gonna say I wasn't getting responses. I was getting responses, but not from my top choice companies. So even the top choice companies, I knew I would truly qualify for those positions, but my resume wouldn't just filter through the system. Like it wouldn't pick up. So that's where I was before I was applying and posting everywhere. And at that point, I decided to seek some kind of professional help because I wanted to strictly get into something where I can spend a couple of years.
Yes, that longevity is important, and especially in a market like this, I get that. Okay, so you decided you need some help. You weren't making it to the you're making it to the altar, but not necessarily to the person that you wanted to marry. Let's just say, and and so you started looking for help. So what was important to you in terms of finding a program that was going to help you? Like what were you seeing out in the market, and what made you ultimately choose CareerAmp?
You know what? I mean, I did shop other program as well. I spoke to a couple different people as well. The one thing really was attractive about Career was it was all about me. Like, it's my experience, it's my expertise, and it's my companies where I want to land my next job. Like, so that's where you would be helping me out, like, helping me mastering my interview skill, my resume, and take my resume to a different level. Well, I still feel comfortable and confident because it's my work, but worded in a different level. So even the after like expert prepared my resumes, like I didn't need to like go back and look at my resumes and think whether I have done it or not, because the work is truly I have done it, but it was worded in a completely different I'm going to say completely different stage. So
Mm,
that's what something like, it's my work and my expertise. Like you guys not are asking me to fake anything out there, like company out there, they do that, but I strictly wanted to go based on my experience. And, I want to feel comfortable when I walk into the company that, hey, whatever I have said in my interview, I have done it. So that was very important for me.
amazing. Yes, and that integrity of like talking about your
Yes.
experience and in truth
Mhm.
is really, really important.
Correct. Yeah.
And I'm glad that you recognize that. Yes, we do not fib on our on
Uh,
resumes, but we help you talk about it in a really powerful way. So that's great. Okay, next up is what would you say was your favorite thing about CareerAmp now that you're a graduate and you went out the other side?
sure. I mean, I'm going to say a couple of things, right? Number one thing was resume in LinkedIn profile. Like right after my resume was done and I posted for the position, like I received a response in 2 days, like from
Woo!
the top companies from my list. My LinkedIn, yes, definitely people started reaching out to me, and you won't believe it. Even though I'm not open to work on a LinkedIn right now, but people are still reaching out to me. I was like,
That's
well
awesome.
done. um, Second thing was opening statement, right? Like introduce yourself, but you
Yep.
want to cover everything, but you still want to brief them. Like they prepared the opening statement in a manner that, put them in a position to ask me more questions.
Yes.
So that was something like opening statement was really, really important. And not only I used that opening statement during my interview process, but I took that opening statement when I started my new position and introduced myself because, they make you introduce to everywhere, different departments, stakeholders. So he was like, oh, I don't need to prepare anything. I have my opening statement ready. So I was very grateful to have it. And I am carrying with me everywhere I go.
Amazing.
The third thing and most important was source stories. I felt super confident. Like, okay, ask me whatever you want to ask me because I have my stories ready, and I had at least 7 or 8 stories ready. So even whatever interviewer want to ask, like I had stories running back in my mind that okay, I know what I'm going to tell you. So that was like super helpful, and I think I got a really good compliment on my source stories as well because I was able to connect their questions with a real life example, and which is the source stories. So I found that very helpful. Like I didn't need to sit there or get nervous or come up with like any kind of example when they were asking for it. So that was really helpful. And one of the thing was I learned is when I was talking to one of the coach, I believe Rachel is the one when I spoke with her last time. No, Shikara. I'm sorry, I'll correct. Shikara is the one when I did my rehearsal, right? The interview rehearsal. And she walked me through like line by line job description. And she's like, you want to make sure you throw certain words from this job description because the job description is there for a reason. And once you
Hmm.
tell them, hey, this is the areas of expertise you have, like, that's your limelight kind of thing.
Yes. Yes.
I think I found that very helpful. Like pick at least 2 or 3 topics from that job description and was something really helpful.
That's amazing. That's so great. And shout out to Shakar if you're watching this
Yes,
for
yes,
helping
no, he
Rinkal.
was very helpful. Yes.
That's great. That's great. Okay, cool. Almost there. So what would you say was your biggest win going through Career Amp? I mean, if I remember correctly, I think you got two different offers during your time with us, but I'm curious what you would consider your biggest win.
Well, that is my biggest win. I had two different offers to choose from, and they both were like my top companies. And I was able to like check off their check boxes, and then I went with the one I really, really like. I'm gonna say I got more than I was looking for. Like it checked literally every single boxes, like the position, the title, the salary, the commute. Um, and super nice organization. Like the culture is really amazing. So that's something I was really looking forward to it, where
That's
I can
great.
spend some of the year. So yes, I'm
That's
gonna
so
say
great.
my win is I got what I was looking for it.
That's amazing. Congratulations. And when all that comes together, right, it's so meaningful and powerful when we set an intention, we figure out a strategy on how we're gonna go get it. This is for anything in life. But this in particular, I know is meaningful to you. So
Yeah.
that's wonderful. Okay, last question. If someone's watching this or someone's on the fence on whether or not they wanted to join Career Amp, what advice would you give them?
I would just say, just go for it. Like, I'm going to say one thing, just go for it, but it also has not only benefit for one time, it has the added benefit for going forward, even not only for one time when you try to even move on to your different organization, different position, or when you try to advance within that position as well, because you can put that source stories and statements together and what to hunt for.
That's awesome. That's great. Well, Rinkal, congratulations again. We're so thrilled for you. And thanks again for spending time with
So
me today.